Hey friends, I'm Amy, and today we're making a truly fast food restaurant copycat at home, the McRib, along with some real copycat fries. Now, McDonald's is one of the oldest fast food chains in the United States, and it's still the largest and most popular fast food chain in the world. But just like everyone else, their limited time stuff is almost always better than the standard menu, and then they always take it away. It's like the Disney vault of food. So that's why we're going to make the McRib at home, so we never have to impatiently wait for it to show up as a temporary special again. And you can't have McDonald's without their very specific style of fries, so let's get cooking. First, we need Hoagie Rolls, and you can either buy these at the grocery store or you can make them at home. I'm using homemade rolls, and I've made these for the channel before, so I'll link that video in the description. If you don't want to make hoagie rolls from scratch though, just grab a bag of at least 4 rolls at the store for this recipe. Now for the meat. The McRib is a ground pork sandwich, and we're gonna need just over a pound of pork roast, either pork shoulder or Boston butt will do. And I can't stress enough that using a roast and grinding it up at home is key to getting the right consistency, because store-bought ground meat is way too chunky for this sandwich. Cut the pound of pork roast meat into smallish cubes, maybe an inch or so, and remove any really hard fat, like the fat on the fat cap of the roast. When we have all the meat cubed up, we're gonna dump all of it into the food processor. Add in 2 tablespoons of sugar, a teaspoon of salt, and 3 tablespoons of cold water. Pulse this up until the mixture is similar to a finely ground pork. It should be pretty smooth and sticky like this. Next, line a baking sheet with parchment paper, and now we'll prepare the patties. First, divide the meat up into 4 roughly equal portions, about 4 ounces each. I used a scale, but you don't have to do that if you don't want to be quite that picky. Now for the shaping. You'll want to wet your hands for this in between each patty, because this meat will stick to you and make it difficult to shape. Take each portion and shape it on the baking sheet into a patty roughly 3 inches by 7 inches until you have 4 rectangular pieces. Now, I know the McRib at McDonald's is shaped sort of like a rack of ribs, and you can put little dents in it to resemble that, but I'm just going for a regular patty this time so that the meat cooks evenly later. When all those patties are shaped, place another sheet of parchment paper on top of the patties to keep them from drying out, and pop these in the freezer for a minimum of 2 hours. We want these to be frozen so they hold their shape when they cook, since right now they're very floppy, and this meat does not have any binders in it to keep it from falling apart. While those are in the freezer, let's prepare the toppings for the sandwiches. First, we need to pour 1 cup of Kraft slow-simmered barbecue sauce into a shallow dish. It's important to use this brand because this one has the closest flavor to the McDonald's brand, and if you're wanting a true copycat, this is your best bet. Next, we need some sliced white onion. This recipe makes 4 sandwiches if you don't double it, so you don't need a lot of onion unless you really like to drown your sandwiches in onions. But for me, a little goes a long way, so we're only slicing a little bit. Last, we need dill pickles. You can slice them up yourself from one of those big old dill pickles you can buy, or you can just buy a jar. Set all this to the side to wait for later. About a half hour before we cook the meat, we'll prepare our fries. This is one of the times though I'm going to recommend not starting with potatoes. You want a 26-ounce bag of store-bought shoelace fries that specifically have dextrose in the ingredients. It's basically corn syrup, which gives the fries their golden color. If you cut your own, you'll need to give them a corn syrup bath, and these already have enough going on without having to do that one too. It's also best to prepare the oil before the fries for this, since it takes longer to heat the oil than to prepare the fries. McDonald's uses a combination of oils, each one giving their own flavor to the final result. We need canola oil, soybean oil, and corn oil. The base is canola, and we want about 1 inch of that in a saucepan or a Dutch oven. Next is soybean oil, and that is what most regular vegetable oils are made from. I'm using Great Value here from Walmart, and as you can see, the only ingredient in it is soybean oil. We want about 3/4 of an inch for that. Last and the smallest amount is corn oil. Top this off with about 1/4 inch of that one, so you have a minimum of 2 inches of oil, which will be plenty to submerge the fries. Start heating the oil over medium heat, and let's get working on our fries. Okay, we need to brine these fries, which is weird to say the least. Brining is not a normal thing for potatoes, but McDonald's fries are brined before they're frozen and shipped. In a small to medium bowl, add 3/4 of a cup of unsalted beef stock, a 1/4 cup of unsweetened soy milk, and a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. Whisk this together until the baking powder is fully melted into the liquid, and then add about 1/4 to 1/3 cup of ice to keep this very, very cold. Now take a handful of fries from the bag and submerge them in the brine. They only need to be in there for a few seconds, then pull them out, place them on a baking sheet, and keep going. Now while we're doing this though, I wanted to mention the weird one, soy milk in French fries. If you're able to hunt down McDonald's actual recipe, you'll see that they use hydrolyzed milk in their brine, which is baby formula for lactose intolerant babies. But buying a $30 to $50 container of baby formula for a 1/4 cup of French fry brine is insane. Using unsweetened soy milk provides an almost exact flavor replica at a fraction of the cost, and we're not using baby formula for babies for some fast food. So, soy milk and French fries. When all those fries have been brined, pop them in the freezer so the baking soda makes that brine cling to the fries. A minimum of 5 minutes will do, but longer is great too. We want those fries and their brine frozen as well before they go into the oil. When the oil is at 375 degrees, pull the fries out of the freezer and start frying. Huge warning though, be very, very careful. Fry these in small batches because putting too many in the oil will cause it to bubble over really fast, and then you've basically created a medieval siege weapon instead of making some French fries. So for this, small batches, and make sure to allow the oil to come back up to temperature 375 in between each batch, because if the temp is low, the fries won't crisp, and then there'll be little oil-logged potato strips of sadness. These will also cook really fast, like 2 minutes per batch. As soon as they start to become a little golden brown and they're crispy, get them right out of the oil and onto a rack or some paper towels to drain or soak up any excess oil. Use a finer grained table salt, as much or as little as you like, to salt the fries when they come out of the oil. Then just keep going until all the fries are fried and crispy. Now that our fries are done, let's whip up our sandwiches, and you can see here that these are nicely frozen and ready to go. You can use a stovetop griddle, a cast iron, even a stainless steel pan, but avoid the non-sticks because this pan needs to get nice and hot, and non-stick pans do not like those temperatures. Heat the pan over medium-high heat, and when the pan is hot, like just before it starts to smoke hot, place the frozen pork patties directly onto the hot, dry pan. Cook them for about 3 to 4 minutes on each side, or until the center reaches 145 degrees. They'll get nicely browned, and they're going to show some dark bits, that signature little char. As the patties are done cooking, dunk them in the barbecue sauce until both sides are coated completely, and then set them all on a plate to cool for just a moment. Turn the heat down on the pan to medium, slice your hoagie rolls long ways, and spread some butter on the insides of the rolls. Place them on the hot pan to toast, and watch them really closely because it'll be like 3 seconds from toasted to burnt carbon that was once bread. It took like 15-20 seconds for mine to toast really nicely. Place a patty on a hoagie roll, top it with some of that sliced onion, as much or as little as you want since we're not stuck with McDonald's portion sizes. Add some pickles, or not, since pickles can be relatively controversial. And we have a McRib sandwich. You can also add more barbecue sauce if you want it really drippy and barbecuey. Serve it with a side of fries, and we just made McDonald's at home. Granted, for many like me, I think my buns are too big, but that's okay because these sandwiches were still amazing and so delicious. For the fries, yeah, these taste exactly like McDonald's, and I mean exactly. Put them in a red box and you may as well have just left the drive-thru. However, this is also where we talk about just how far down that from scratch rabbit hole you want to go. These tasted exactly how they should, but I'm going to be brutally honest here and say that these were a pain in the patookus to make. The frying is very splattery since they were frozen and coated in liquid that does not like hot oil. And even though they fried quickly, they still took a while since they have to be cooked in very small batches and it takes a few minutes for the oil to come back to temp each time. It may be easier if you have a home deep fryer, but in a pot, these were a production. So we all have to decide just how far we're gonna go with homemade and from scratch because it can get really crazy. Now for the money. I thought this one would be a little tough to beat because McDonald's is cheap, or it's been cheap till recently. However, the last time it was on the specialty menu in 2025, the McRib cost $4.49 to $6.99 depending on where you are. The fries range from $1.89 to over $6 depending on your location and the size that you order. We made 4 sandwiches and 26 ounces of fries, and I spent $13.05 on all the ingredients for this. Now, McDonald's weighs their fries in grams, and 26 ounces is just over 737 grams, which ends up being 23 small, 7 medium, or 5 large fries based on McDonald's portion sizes. I made 4 sandwiches and the equivalent of 5 large orders of fries for the cost of 1 sandwich and 1 large order of fries. So it turns out it really wasn't hard to beat their prices at all. That is so much more than double the food for half the cost that it makes cleaning the mess in my kitchen for making those fries totally worth it. And now we don't have to hope McDonald's decides to grace us with the McRib again because that part was incredibly easy to make and so delicious. So if you're a McRib fan, you have got to try this. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please like and subscribe if you're enjoying making these delicious recipes with me. Maybe leave me a comment below. I love reading and responding to comments, and it really helps out my channel. Come and hang out with me on Sundays for comforting and cozy home-cooked recipes, meals, snacks, treats, you name it, we'll make it. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you back here next Wednesday for some more better at home copycat cooking. Bye.